This bill is a bill that ensures that every voice in Oregon will matter. And it does that by giving power to small donors and reducing the need for candidates to rely on large moneyed interests or wealthy special interests. It does this by creating a small donor match program. If a candidate agrees not to accept contributions larger than $250, those contributions will be matched 6-to-1 under this program. In doing so, it makes ordinary Oregonians as powerful as large moneyed interests. Really, the ideals of this is to lessen the impact of money in politics. It breaks down the barriers to actually run for office. It actually encourages candidates to reach out into their communities, and this has been proven in other districts that have done this in New York, where the diverse group of electors, people in the community that have participated in elections. And by having the candidate reach out in that way, it actually increases engagement into the process. We can see this in maps in these other districts that are using this. It is phenomenal. It's great to get that civic engagement. And we could go through and kind of look at some of those other districts. We see as more diverse candidates running for office and getting elected to office. And when our body as a state better reflects our population, we're going to get better policy coming out of here. And then, quite frankly, our local elected officials have better connections to their communities. So all of those things provide an increased value over the current way that our elections are being run.
You know, we have thousands of members. We talk to people at their doorstep every day. And I can say that money in politics is an issue that people really care about. And they want to participate either as donors or as candidates, but they know that either they won't be able to raise enough money to win or their $10, $15 contribution won't make a difference. It's really disempowering. And small donor elections, I think, would be a great way at empowering regular people to participate in our democracy and balance our government.
I have a 6-year-old who's in school. I certainly would like to have less classroom sizes, but I also know my 6-year-old at some day is going to be 18, 20, 30 years old and operating in this state and in our country. And I believe a democracy that has an investment in increasing the voice of small donors over large moneyed interests is a good thing. And that is investment in him, and that is an investment in our country, in our state. And that is something that I just fundamentally believe.
Oregon has always been a leader in creating a strong democracy. And with the small donor-funded elections, we will continue to be in the leadership in the country on this issue.
What is the problem with funding elections as we have been doing them?
I appreciated your question, Rep. Veretto, about what is the problem. It's interesting to me to hear that. I think maybe for some legislators, you resign yourself to the system that you're working in and you learn to be successful in that. So it may not be clear what the problem is. But to voters, it's so clear that your question is almost stunning. It's appalling to see so much money in our legislative system. And whether it's just the appearance or there's some reality to it, it feels like our government, our representatives are bought and paid for and are not really representative of us.
We're here to support House Bill 4076 because, in our view, it helps restore balance to Oregon's democracy. I want to share some information from a report that we released recently. So we pulled campaign finance data from 2016 and found that there were just about 400 large political donors. So those 400 large donors collectively gave around $9 million to candidates for state office in Oregon. And at the same time, there were 29,500 small donors who collectively gave about $2.4 million. So what that means is those 400 wealthy donors had nearly 4 times the ability to get the message out for their preferred candidate than all small donors combined in the entire state. Any way you slice it, small donors and voices of everyday Oregonians are being significantly drowned out by a very small set of wealthy donors.
You know, a politician who's spending time and they know that person A could potentially give $10,000 to their campaign and person B can only give $25. How much time do you think someone's going to spend with the $10,000 donor versus the $25 donor? There's these counter incentives that can go on in this type of world, and what we want to do is make sure that everybody's getting that equal access. Everybody's voice is being elevated to that same level.
We've heard from the candidates who have run under both systems, a small donor election system and a traditional election system, that they feel the difference. They feel like they're able to spend more time with a broader set of constituents, and so they're taking in more perspectives rather than a narrow view, and that's beneficial to them in governing.
I grew up in East Portland from an immigrant mom, low income. don't have wealth, don't come from money. So running for office is a challenging thing because of how much money you have to raise and what it takes to be a viable candidate, the amount of connections you must have in order to do so. And I think removing barriers as much as we can is an important way to get average folk that come from the community to be able to represent their community. I think that this small donor elections program will remove barriers for folks that have socioeconomic status like mine, come from communities like mine, and other communities that are underrepresented, to have a fighting chance and truly be the voices of their community.
So would it bring a greater advantage to the Republican Party or the Democrat Party?
I think it's really important to note when you were talking about does one party or another have some advantage in terms of money. This isn't about advantages in terms of money. This is the type of money that people are taking and the type of money I want our candidates, the type of money that I want our politicians to be elected by is by small donors, not large moneyed interests. And that's really what the core of this bill is about.